have a listen to this.
We start 2009 in the midst of a crisis unlike any we have seen in our lifetime.
We are confronting challenges we never have had to meet before.
We are going through the worst financial crisis in our lifetime.
The most profound economic emergency since the Great Depression.
It's not like the Great Depression. It is not like the austerity. It is not like a war footing. That is absolute nonsense. It is not even a recession.
Now,
ALP South Brisbane.
Does that election ad for the ALP, having a go at Lawrence Springborg, affect the way you're spending your money? Queensland businesses reckon it does, and they're calling on politicians to stay away from any negative talk about the economy in their election campaigns. Why? Because they say it's bad for business. Now, Scott Driscoll is from the Queensland Retailers Association. Good morning.
Good morning, Madonna.
You've called this election ad irresponsible and disgusting. Why is that?
Well, Madonna, anything that puts businesses at risk, anything that puts jobs at risk, whether it's an election campaign or not, and I mean, I think we all accept there's going to be some argy-bargy from both sides, that's fine, but anything that risks the businesses and the jobs of ordinary Queenslanders is not on.
But what proof do you have this is hurting business?
Madonna, I've got thousands of members out there right across Queensland. I talk to many of them every day, and I can tell you now, this is the very thing. I mean, we've heard government ministers, I'm talking federal and state, saying some fairly probably unthinking things, to put it nicely, over the last 6 months with regard to the economy, and I think they'd probably be the first to admit perhaps some of them have handled badly. We've now seen, though, an ad that's been constructed in a political sense to reinforce the fact that the message they're trying to get across is talking things down. We don't want to see that. We've got the US president, we've got the UK Prime Minister talking about their domestic economies. I know the Prime Minister of Australia is in there as well, but I mean, let's look at Queensland. We've got fundamentally strong household economies here. We've got businesses fighting very hard to stay open, businesses fighting very hard to keep people employed.
But have you got proof that businesses have folded or they are hurting as a result of that ad?
We've got proof that businesses are doing it tougher because they are telling me, Madonna, this is businesses right across Queensland, retailers, good solid retailers, are saying they have had a gutful and had enough of politicians talking things down.
But if it walks and talks and smells like a recession, what difference does it make whether it's official? Times are tough whether politicians are talking about it or not, surely.
Well, Madonna, consumer confidence and the economy and how it all works is a very delicate matter, and I think it's a lot more complex than to be, with due respect, that flippant about it. We're talking about messages that are being sent, and we're talking about developing confidence for business and developing confidence for consumers. I think we've tried to talk things in a realistic sense in Queensland, and we've done a lot better over the last quarter than some other states have, where we've had a real focus on trying to get a positive message out there. I think any negative message, I mean, if ads didn't work, people wouldn't pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they cost. So, I know this is taking a swipe in a political campaign. I understand and accept that, but don't put businesses and Queensland jobs at risk in the process. Is
Lawrence Springborg's tone in reference to the recession or what we are suffering in Queensland better than the ALP's?
Well, I think the reality is we're not suffering a recession, and that is the point that the opposition leader in that ad makes, as I understand it. But we've got the ALP out there saying in this ad, and I'm picking on this ad specifically, I accept the election campaign is what it is, but in this ad specifically, it is irresponsible, it is disgusting, it is threatening Queensland jobs and businesses.
You, I think, were quoted as being a life member of the Queensland National Party, a former Liberal candidate and former National Party campaign director. Is there a level of politics in your accusation here against the ALP?
Madonna, you're right, and I can tell you right now, if Lawrence Springborg was running these ads, not only would I shoot him down in the public, I would be ringing him and giving him a very terse phone call, because I've known Lawrence personally for years. This is a Labor ad, and this is not good for business, and it's not good for jobs in Queensland.
Scott Driscoll, thank you.
Thanks, Madonna.
That's Scott Driscoll from the Retailers Association.